My child's love language is touch. They love to hug, cuddle, get their back rubbed. How do I help protect them and keep them safe as they enter the dating world? How they interact with peers, and even while they are a young child, keeping them safe from predators. I don't want them to cross boundaries or not understand theirs because they may enjoy a certain type of touch. I know there's safe touch and unsafe touch, and it's not good touch, bad touch, because bad touch can feel good.
Right. Yeah, I think that was a big, great distinction in the book, right? And I think this was something that I wouldn't even say I struggled with. It was, again, when I think about language, I was like, oh, that's really helpful to like hear and discuss is that sexual interaction feels good at time. It can, right? Like there's the capacity for it to feel good. And then that's confusing, right? For kids, because then somebody's like, somebody did something bad to you. And the kid's like, well, that felt great. But I think what I've learned, and again, building in the language around is like this sense, like we have our five typical senses, and then there's what's called the eighth sense of interoception, which is it kind of connects us to our internal sensations. So like hunger, thirst, the need to use the restroom. I think this also extends to the gut feeling, so that while something can feel quote unquote good, we also want to be helping kids understand that it's possible that someone does something good feeling externally, but the internal radar is pinging. There's something going on. And as supportive adults in kids' lives, I think we're engaging in this delicate dance of teaching about the radar, interpreting the signals, and then responding to the signals, which is, again, a multi-layered approach. And so, kids have reactions sometimes that I think for them are valid. If Aunt Becky gives a really tight hug, it might actually not even feel good at all, but then it's confusing because she's like, oh, I love you. This is how I show love, is by like squeezing you till your head feels like it's going to pop off. Well, I don't want that, and kids are very good, I feel like, about being like, I don't like that. And then over time, I feel like what happens is we train them to be like, don't say you don't like it. That's rude. Like, again, this is where the play therapy skills translate is like, oh, Aunt Becky, I know you love to give those big hugs. The thing is, Corey, like he's so sensitive with his body. Can you show him another way that you love him or are happy to see him? And again, generationally, these people, I don't want to over generalize everybody from a certain generation. So I'm like, oh, well, I got hugs I didn't like all the time and I dealt with it. And it's like, well, guess what? It's 2022. We're not doing that anymore. But yeah, helping kids like listen to the feedback that they have internally. And also like, and Aunt Becky is one example. I'm also thinking about like, if there's another adult that people are like, they get the cringy, weird feeling, like we don't want to ignore that. And we don't want to train kids to ignore that, because that is the sense that something is off. Mm-hmm. And I want to listen as much as I can when something is off. I need to look at that. I can't just be like, oh, it's probably nothing, right? How many women are like, oh, it's probably nothing. Oh, we're probably just taking the same route home. Oh, it's probably nothing. Like, it's definitely something to look at. There's a really good book, The Gift of Fear, and it talks about like, just like there's so much data, sensory data that we're getting that says, hey, 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 hey. And again, especially women are like, I'm being dramatic. It's whatever. I'm not that cute. Whatever the things are that are going in your mind that you're trying to be like, I don't even need to look at that. Is like, no, actually, you need to look at it because you need to stay safe, right? And so the same thing with kids is we want to be training them to understand that, again, everybody's safety triggers are different. And so, oh my gosh, you love giving hugs. You love giving kisses. That is just how you show people you love them. The thing is, some people it doesn't feel good in their bodies. They like you, they want to hang out with you, but that part of you feels overwhelming to them. So and again, now if we're thinking about in the context of relationships, is like, you might not be able to stay in a relationship with someone who is so rejecting of your love language, right? And it's again like this problem solving of like, okay, do I change who I am to fit this person without resentment, without, guilt, shame, and all these things? Or do I leave the relationship and go somewhere where we match more, we're more compatible in the love languages, right? So again, I think it travels the lifespan of relationships, whether it's family, work, romantic, all of those.